Chapter 45. The men are lined up in rows, striking forward, shouting with every punch. They are young rookies covered in sweat, wearing muted light leather armor with a unique insignia of a shield across the chest. They stand in an empty stone courtyard, shielded by the fortified walls of the city. They are not alone, however, as other soldiers equipped in steel, adorning the same insignia on their helmets, are watching from the sidelines, also sapped of their energy. Isamu sweeps his arm across, looking forward at the weakened army standing before him. Your strikes need to be faster. Your opponent, whether man or monster, will see your punches coming. Any advantage you give your enemy is a quick ticket to death. From their tired eyes, his words aren't reaching them. It's hopeless. The men before him are pushed beyond their limits. There's not enough food or time to rest. With monsters looming in the darkness around every corner, such risk cannot be taken. Isamu understands why the strict training sessions must happen, but nothing will be retained without rest. It was one of the first lessons Pimiko taught. An older gentleman in a brown heavy cloak steps over to Isamu from the side. He is scrawny and hollow to the point a strong wind could break him. People like him should be relaxing in peace, not trudging through the dangers of Alfgard. Isamu catches his slow approach, shifting his head towards him. The scouts have returned, he whispered, cupping his mouth with one hand. Thank you for the update, he responded, and the gentleman scattered into the night. Looks like Aziza is back. Today will be the end of your training, he shouted. Take a good rest, but next time we will focus on sparring against each other. Dismissed. The young martial artists fall to the floor after giving the order. Some are laid out flat like a fresh corpse. He shakes his head slightly, watching as the other soldiers leave the premise as if a show has just ended. Perhaps Grandma saw me in the same way, he pondered, looking down at the exhausted men. He scopes the area. Most of the civilians are gone for the night. All that is left are several guards of high status patrolling the open streets. Next to the courtyard is a large stone-paved street, leading up to the entrance of Cantiln, with the other end being the king's large cabin. His destroyed castle is far behind the reinforced walls, peeking over like an ominous omen. He steps onto the streets, walking up to the entrance, eyeing the many thin alleyways. Posted along the streets are burly and rugged vendors, selling weapons, armor, and even servicing damaged gear. How long has it been since vendors have roamed the street? He thought, remembering his time in large cities like Romaria or Ortega. Gone were the days of leisure strolls and careless activities. Now every gold had to be spent to survive. Every second spent wisely. Vendors were not the only things stationed on the streets. Large stone golems, made of the same material as the walls, remain lifeless. Many aspiring engineers countlessly working their precious time away to control them. Once in control, they say, the golems will act as sentries outside the city walls to fight off any unwanted intruders. The dream is there. Their spirit is sound, and the amount of aid they would provide is undeniable. But from the way they tumble, crashing into the mess of stones at any inconvenience, leaving behind craters and cracks on the streets, let alone wielding their might, it would take years, time that is not available. Even if they were successful, the golems at this moment would have to be reconstructed to last a bout against the monsters of Alfgard. And from what Isamu witnessed in the arena pits of Romaria, a puny slime bested the Titan. A lesson he will not soon forget, back when times were simpler and mistakes were minor. That sight is proof enough a golem of stone would be impossible to control and maintain. How did Romaria hide such devastating power under the city? It's possible to believe the Shady King has ways, maybe even ties the dark power, the same as Pimiko. However, the dark power they held is no longer reliable. With the orbs gone, it was hard to stir up the same confidence as before. Baramos was a joke compared to his stories, yet it was what he wanted Isamu to believe. Anger drove his might forward, the orbs fueling the fire, but now he reaps the consequences, wondering every day for the past few weeks where the remainder of his friends are, believing he caused them grief, death. He reaches the entrance soon enough to find 5 scrawny scouts covered in dark clothes and cloaks. Attached to their waist are nearly empty sacks, which were once filled with fading jennies. Fading jennies were thankfully easy to replenish in a week's time. Unfortunately, fading jennies also didn't last long. They grew as fast as they went, but from the smiles on their faces, they must have come across new information in the short time they had. Among them is Aziza, looking up to the buttress, lost in thought. "Looks like you made it back in one piece," he said, walking up to her, grabbing her attention away from the walls. Guessing by their faces they found something worth the trip. Her eyes are cold like the air, and her words are soft like a whisper. "You're right. We couldn't explore the whole area, but it looks to be a checkpoint of sorts to the far north." "Way to go, Aziza. Seems with your help, the map you guys have been scribbling out will be done in no time." He sighs, "Though you shouldn't push yourself. You just got here a few days ago. Rest should be your top priority." "Kinda hypocritical of you to say, don't you think?" she responded by pointing to his left arm in a large stained sling. "Despite a broken arm, you still went out of your way to train a bunch of rookies." He carefully grazes his broken arm. The pain throbs lightly like a heartbeat, though it has grown more annoying than painful. "Why do you think I'm training people in my stead? Even I know that having both arms, no matter your skill, is better than one. Besides, there's work to be done, and lazing around isn't really my style." You took the words right out of my mouth. "But still, your work is harder than mine. I have the fortune of not facing death at every corner. Do you plan on stopping me then?" "In this state, like I can," he answered, pointing to his sling. "However, I do notice your bag is empty compared to the others. You tend to push your luck, scouting on your own. You always have." She turns her face away from his. Her face is full of distraught. His eyebrows drop down, his eyes narrow. His words are serious. "I'm not the only one suffering. You're looking for them, aren't you?" "Yes, I am." She struggled to get those words out. Why has she been so distant? Does she blame me? I can't fault her. I was so willing to push onward. I know if it were me, I could never be stuck with the man who doomed the world and saw my life as a necessary sacrifice. He pushes aside his drowning thoughts, relying on his wit to keep him afloat. "Is that why you have been so distant as of late? Afraid I would stop you from trying? It's as you said. In your state, you can't." She takes a deep breath, looking deep in the cloudy black sky. "No matter where I look or how much I push myself or try the unthinkable, no trace of either of them is in sight. I worry, Isamu. I worry that maybe—" Her words trail off. "You do remember who we are talking about, right? They aren't the type to lay down and die. Hotaru, I know that for sure, and while Fedir may be more insistent to the notion, he still pushes through, denying that fate." He looks to the cold ground, taking a deep breath. "It was him, after all, who pushed himself to save your life. So are you two on bad terms now?" He freezes. How could Fedir leave out such an important part of his awakening? "He didn't tell you?" "I guess it wasn't crucial enough to warrant talking about. He mentioned something of a fight when I asked about you guys, but he went straight back to discussing reaching Baramos. I like to think of it more as a disagreement. A fight is too simple." "Do you hate him?" A long, deafening pause shrouds the cold air. He doesn't reply, but his eyes are thoughtless. Yet by the way his mouth quivers, it's like his brain is having a debate against itself. She steps past him, peering straight ahead. "I'm going to the mess hall if you need anything." He sits quietly on his raised cot. The room is small and empty, with only the cot and a small countertop. The room isn't comforting. The walls are like a prison cell, and his belittling thoughts, like the guards, occasionally reminding him of the errors. He peeks over at the golden claw that lays at the center of the surface, staring deeply at the distorted figure of himself. Despite all the pain it has wrought and the blood it has spilled, it remains pure with its golden sheen. Though the claw may have stayed the same throughout the months, he hasn't. He takes the claw and places it over his hand, flicking the fingers. He looks deep into his palm, the sharp, dangerous nails towering over his calloused hand like a fearsome monster stalking its unsuspecting prey. What would Grandma have done at this point? Being split up from the hero who is destined to save the world. Would she go out and find her or come up with a different approach? I miss you, Grandma. You had faith in me, but I am a mere shell of your teachings, unable to thrive on my own. The freedom you gave was your cruelest gift. The door cracks open and startles him. The old scout from before peeks his head in. Please forgive my intrusion, Master Isamu, but you haven't happened to see Aziza around. He lifts from his bed, setting the claw aside on the counter. She said she was going to the mess hall, but that was hours ago. Is she needed for something? The scout's eyes shift around the room and his lips quiver. Oh, I hope I am wrong. She was supposed to report back to the map room of her findings, but she never showed up. She's not in her room either. Isamu reflects the man's emotions. Maybe she's in the city somewhere. The other scouts are searching at this very moment. Can you tell me anything suspicious about her? Did something happen outside the city walls? I don't think so. Today was a good day for our expedition. We discovered a plot of land which is presumed to have belonged to the heroes from above. On our way back, we were speculating it might have been the final checkpoint before their raid on Zoma's castle. Isamu freezes in place. His mind clicks. Which way is the checkpoint? He flinches to his words as if smacked in the face. Are you suggesting she went out on her own? She has history in that place. I have no doubt she is there. I can't have you go alone. We will send the scouting team. You don't have the resources for that. Your expedition nearly used all of this week's fading jennies. Hand the remainder to me, and I will bring her back safely. She and I are close. She will listen. Okay, I will do as you say. The nervous scout places his hand in his large cloak to pull out a piece of paper. It is rolled up poorly, covered in small rips. He opens it to find a layout drawn. The checkpoint is to the north of here. He points to the southeast of the map where the word Cantiln is placed. The map has a large landmass in a U shape with different points of interest written on the map. To the northwest, in a large flat plain, is Zoma's Plains. Slightly to the right of that is a lone island labeled Zoma's Castle. Below that, to the southwest, is Damdara Desert, and the northeast is mostly blank, with no words. It isn't much, but it will point you in the right direction. Now let's hurry quickly to the map room to gather some fading jennies, he said, bolting out the door. She was looking for someone. It's not Hotaru or Fedir, he thought. How can I be so stupid?